Um, if you are a small business owner or solopreneur, one of the elements of growing your business that you might have been surprised about is that it's very personal. And emotional intelligence is actually a really key skill that I have found can hold people back from growing their businesses. One of the places I really recommend we invest in today, we're going to talk about common challenges that small business owners and solopreneurs face when it comes to their emotional intelligence and how they approach situations. We're going to talk about how to move through those challenges and what the solution is if we want to grow our business and how do we tackle that kind of personal part of business. So I am Cheyenne Driscoll. I'm a marketing coach and consultant for independently owned businesses here in Southern Ontario. And with me, I have Jade. I am a fangirl of Jade. She entered my world a couple of years ago, and I could not wait to get to know more about what she was doing and to see her bring the emotional intelligence consulting that she offers specifically to business owners, because it's absolutely crucial for us as we grow our business that we grow as people as well. So, Jade, could you tell me a bit more about your business, what you do, and why you decided to build it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Cheyenne said, I'm Jade and I'm the founder of Emotional Intelligent Consulting. I'm a mom of three. I have a supportive husband. I adore canoeing, camping, and coffee. And I've always been a top performer in every industry that I've ever worked in. More importantly, I'm a rational emotive behavioral techniques coaching consultant. I help professionals take their behaviors from disruptive to constructive and have a more happy and fulfilling professional life. I have 10 years experience in leadership and management roles, as well as I worked in education for 7 years. So got some experience in a few different areas, especially in regards to elevating your emotional intelligence. Part of the reason I do what I do is I've had many jobs where I've worked with extraordinarily talented people who are just unable to work with one another or converse with clients effectively, which often led to conflicts and eventually those people leaving a company or having their own business venture fail when they could thrived if they had have understood more about emotional intelligence. So I take those top performers and I help them not only focus on their hard skills, which got them to that position, but more so on their human skills, which is really going to help them have a more successful career business venture because that's what those top performers really need to thrive and become these solopreneurs who can actually have a business that supports them and is what they want it and need it to be.
There's so much genius in there. As a fellow mom of three, when I first had my kids, it became clear to me that emotional intelligence was a skill I needed to work on. I credit it a lot for the fact that I was able to build my business as quickly as I did. I still had to dig in and learn more, and there's still more ahead of me. But I knew that if I hadn't have done that when I went into building my business, I would have come up against those same type of problems. I love to say business is not B2B or B2C, it's P2P. It's person to person. You're talking to clients, you're talking to customers, you're collaborating. It's all about people skills, and emotional intelligence is the core of that. I am so excited to have this conversation. Can you give me three common challenges that you see small business owners and solopreneurs facing when it comes to the skill set of emotional intelligence?
Absolutely. The first one that I want to talk about is balancing self awareness and decision making. And I'll kind of explain what I mean by that because it's such a big concept, right? So we
Yeah.
can narrow it in a little bit. But for many small business owners, they struggle with accurately assessing their own emotions and how these impact their business decisions. And it can lead to these impulsive decisions or this overthinking, especially when we're faced with stress or uncertainty around our business. We really want this to be successful, but we're not really self aware of how much our emotional state is influencing the decisions that we're making and driving the decisions that we're making, and they don't always align with our long term business goals. So that would be number one. Number two would be managing stress and self regulation. There's this pressure that we put on ourselves because we are literally managing all aspects of our business. And it can be difficult to maintain that emotional control that we need to encourage our business to thrive. Owners may find it's hard to regulate emotions such as frustration, anxiety, or burnout, which can affect your focus and your relationship with your clients and collaborators that you're working with at that time, right?
Yeah.
If we learn more about self regulation and managing stress, it can help us build a more sustainable business long term. And then lastly, number three, building effective relationships. Your business is nothing if you can't maintain relationships with other people. You need relationships with clients, you need relationships with your collaborators. So you have to be able to maintain those. The challenges that we find with solopreneurs is building those client relationships. We can struggle with social awareness and understanding the perspectives of the people that we're speaking with, and that is a really tricky skill to learn. You can learn it, but it is tricky. Often, with misunderstandings or miscommunications, we have difficulty fostering these relationships and having them grow long term. By improving social awareness, we can form more lasting, longer connections with these different partnerships and clients. So, those are the top three.
There's so much in there. You could run a webinar on every single one of those separately.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But and so often when people come to me for marketing, at the core of their struggle is usually one of those things. They either haven't planned out how they're approaching their business logically and rationally. Instead, they're being very reactive and they're not even aware of it. If you try to launch something and it doesn't sell, that feeling of lack of self, it can trigger so many things. Business is so personal. Nothing will make you see yourself more. Business and parenting, those are the strongest mirrors. And if you are not aware that you are now making business choices and marketing choices from a very reactive emotional space, you end up scattered in a million different directions. I call it shiny object syndrome, where you're just bouncing away from the discomfort. You're just like, I didn't like this. This didn't feel good because I launched it and it didn't sell. I'm abandoning ship. Now I'm into this because I get that fun of building it. So all of these things you're talking about are things I work with over 150 small business owners and solopreneurs. And every single time there is something we're struggling with in our business, I have always seen it comes down to something along those lines. Self-emotional intelligence, understanding how to work with people. Networking is a huge part of building your business, especially at the start. It's all tied into this. I cannot wait for your workshop, which we're about later. I have been waiting for you to bring your knowledge and genius to these people that I love serving, because I can do some of it through marketing. They come to me for marketing and we end up in really personal conversation, but I don't have the framework and skill set that you have. So to see someone with your credentials and insight bringing that is something I think is going to help a lot of small business owners who might have gotten stalled and not known how to grow their business. I think you're going to give them a really important piece of the puzzle. When a small business owner or solopreneur works on developing their emotional intelligence, they get support either through one of your programs or some one-on-one coaching. They really dive into it and elevate their emotional intelligence. How does it change things for them? How does it help them address these three challenges?
Absolutely. So then talking to that, with all of the programs and everything that we do, I always run everyone through this 4-step system. We focus on improving them because they all build on each other. It self-awareness, self-management, regulation, those are two very internal elements. And then the external ones, which are social awareness and relationship management. Everything we do, we always run through these steps and we elevate all of these 4 different elements. They build on each other. And when we're thinking about those 3 other challenges that we run into, number 1 that you're going to find is going to improve when you start to elevate your emotional intelligence is improved decision making by enhancing your self awareness. With this greater emotional intelligence, as a business owner, you become more aware of your emotional triggers and biases. So now you start to understand, oh, okay, this is why I'm making this choice or decision. And that's not really benefiting me long term, right? Sustainable. If I keep leaning into this emotion when I'm triggered this way, I'm not going to have a business at the end of the day. That's not really my goal. By elevating your self awareness, you're able to align those decisions with those long term visions that you have for yourself, because you gain insight as to, well, what emotion do I need to lean into here to help me get from point A to point B. So you're getting more effective outcomes, those desired outcomes that you're looking for. Number 2 is better stress management and emotional regulation. A lot of us didn't learn this and could use this in so many aspects of life. So, as a business owner or solopreneur, when you start to increase your emotional intelligence, you recognize when you're feeling overwhelmed. When you recognize that, you can then take your stress management tools and use those more effectively. Do that pause, reflect, and respond in a more calm way so that you're not getting burnt out. You realize when you push too far and you need to pull back for a moment and do this other thing instead. And then finally, number 3 is that stronger and more authentic building with your customers, clients, or other business partners or collaborators. As your emotional intelligence grows, so does your ability to understand and empathize with others' emotional perspectives, which is going to help you create stronger relationships, communicate more clearly with your clients, as well as connect in a more authentic way, right? And then some of you might even be looking at bringing in employees. So you can start to connect and work with them incredibly effectively. And everybody is moving again towards those long-term goals that you have for your business. And on top of that, a bonus is you're going to find that you are perceived as a much more approachable uh, business owner, and people are going to want to work with you more naturally. There's countless other benefits that we could talk about, but those are the 3 that I find relate back to those other challenges most effectively.
I know we've talked a lot about marketing because we do the one-on-one. So much of it is woven throughout how effectively you connect with your market through your marketing, right? Where you're coming from in your business. You have to understand your brand. You have to have the self-awareness not to post reactively. You have to be intentional. You have to have the awareness to know your long-term goals and desires. You have to be able to relate to people. Listening to your framework, I'm like, I think I'm pretty strong in the first tier. I can see my opportunities for development if you're second through. It's incredible how this type of thing, it's never done. It's always just a further investment in growing and expanding into the next level. As a business owner, and I've seen it play out in my clients, we invest in ourselves and it reflects in the business growth. Every time I've always seen a direct correlation. It always leads to increase in business growth, exactly for those really, really logical, tangible reasons you're talking about. You make better decisions. You're able to plan ahead for your business and you're able to stay in aligned action for those long-term intentions. You definitely become more approachable. Your grounded energy makes you more trustworthy. We're in a post-trust economy, especially if you're doing anything online. Trust is the biggest thing you need to earn with people. When you have that kind of emotional intelligence, people intrinsically have a level of trust for you. Like, it's such a business investment, these type of skills. I am so excited to see you offer them in a workshop. And I know you also have an on-demand mini course, which is Elevate Your EQ, I believe is the name of it.
Yes. And it's the foundation of those 4 steps. So you start to get an understanding of what it is and how we use it to help you elevate those skills and actually apply them to your business daily.
So that's a worthwhile investment for anybody. Take the time and watch it. It will at least give you the frame in your mind of working through these opportunities. Then if you do want to go further, Jade also has a workshop she's running through the We Can initiative with Queen's University. That will be November 28th from 10 to 11:30. Do you want to?
Yes. So that one in particular is building stronger relationships with your customers, clients, partners, suppliers,
Okay.
and any other business contacts that you may have. And that one is going to be aimed at professional women who are seeking to elevate their emotional intelligence in their business space.
Nice. Especially for us women, sometimes finding the balance between being approachable and being firm. Not the easiest thing. And I was just having a conversation with another really close friend in business. And we're talking about how the more your business builds, the more you need to find that in yourself. That becomes the biggest skill set between developing and growing or not. I'm a marketing consultant. It's not usually marketing. It's not usually business operations. It's actually your own capacity to find nuance in your relationships in business so that you're standing firm while being approachable and having good people skills. So that's going to be, I love that you're doing that for women. I think that is a challenge unique to women. A lot of men have a different approach that they don't get blocked in the same way that we do. So the fact that you created something for women, especially, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then after your workshop, I know December 4th, I believe you have a course coming out. It's going to be a live group course, I believe.
Yes, that's right. So it's on how to follow through with good communication. It's going to be 3 1-hour sessions, so 1 hour over 3 weeks. And we'll talk about different situations in communication, like if you've ever responded to a stressful situation and it's made it worse, with communicated with a client or business partner and that led to a conflict, or if you found it difficult to get your vision across to whomever you're speaking, this course is going to give you the tools to halt those cycles and create controlled responses with different people so that you don't have these misunderstandings and you're ensuring that your message is understood in the way that you intended it to be.
Oh, that's beautiful. Everybody, we all come into these situations, misstep, and it's never about beating yourself up. The biggest opportunity we have is in taking courses like this that give us a framework to work off of. So that when we enter these situations, because that is the name of the game when it comes to business, you enter sticky situations, you end up in places that you're not quite adept at. That's one of the beauties of it. It allows you to grow as a person, and having the support of a framework and a approach that you can lean back on. It'll be messy the first couple of times. It takes practice to feel really smooth with. I think that's the difference between sometimes we get so discouraged with how challenging business can be, especially on the personal level with this type of stuff, that we can throw in the towel even when we have a really viable business and we could make something really beautiful out of it. So this type of thing is something I highly recommend people look at and consider. Is this something that will help me move forward in business? Really excited that you're offering all of these. I know I've been like, since the first time I saw you, like she did. Originally, I know you were focused on optometry. That's where your specialization was. And like these skills would help so many business owners. Please bring it to us. And you did. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And the conversation that spark and bloom from all of that, it's always amazing to even like hear what other people are saying and collectively move through that together, and to hear other people having those same experiences, right? It just makes it so real and like, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't have to continue to be like this.
Especially if you're a solopreneur, even with a small business owner, you're the one leading the team. It can feel very isolating. And when it feels like it's a personal problem, like it's something you personally are not able to step up to, you can easily spin in your head that this is something that's wrong with me. It's something that I'm not doing right. And when you get in a room with people, you're like, oh my gosh, that happened to me yesterday. You're like, oh, this is just the business thing. But common experience we're all sharing completely changes it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jade. I really appreciated this. I will include links to your website, your free mini course, and then your workshop, and people can check that out, get to know more about you, get to learn about how they can elevate their EQ so they can grow their business.
That sounds excellent. Thank you for having me. And everyone thanks Cheyenne. She finds amazing people and brings them to you.
So I get to have these conversations.
That's good.
Thanks, Jade.
You're welcome.